Hey everyone, welcome back to the Incredible India podcast series.
It's fantastic to be back.
I'm Taylor, and joining me today is Sam.
Glad to be here.
Today, we are sailing into a truly spectacular and little-known corner of the Andaman Sea.
We really are.
We're focusing on what is quite literally India's fiery secret, Barren Island. Imagine cutting through the clearest sapphire waters you can think of, and then seeing this single, perfect, dark, volcanic silhouette just rise up. It looks completely misplaced.
It really does. It challenges everything we think we know about the Andaman region.
Yeah.
This isn't just a remote island.
No.
It's India's only active volcano, one of the very rare living fire mountains in all of South Asia.
Which is just incredible to think about.
It is. And that element of surprise is, I think, central to our mission for this deep dive.
Okay.
We're going to uncover why this magnificent stratovolcano, despite being called barren, actually functions as this critical natural laboratory for regeneration.
So not barren at all.
Not at all. We need to look at the powerful science underneath it, the profound ecological paradox of the reefs that thrive right next to all that heat, and what it truly tells us about the planet's untamed heartbeat.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because for anyone who pictures the Andamans as purely pristine beaches and turquoise lagoons, the concept of an active volcano right there is, it's shocking. A huge geographical anomaly.
It is, and that rarity is what makes it so important.
So let's start with that, the sheer magnitude of its geological significance. Barren Island is unequivocally India's only currently active volcano.
The only one.
What kind of fire mountain are we actually dealing with here? What's its blueprint?
It's a classic textbook stratovolcano. If you picture a mountain, you usually think of something formed slowly by uplift.
Right.
But stratovolcanoes are built, well, violently, layer upon layer. Think of that iconic, tall, steeply rising cone shape.
Forged from centuries of ash and hardened rock and lava flows.
Exactly. That structure immediately signals that it sits right on top of a major tectonic stress point.
And what's generating that stress? Where is the engine room that's constantly feeding this thing?
The engine room is one of the most significant geological structures in the entire region.
Okay.
The massive Sunda subduction zone.
The Sunda subduction zone.
And this isn't just a point on a map. This is where the mighty Indian plate is actively, continuously sliding beneath the Bernese plate.
So it's a huge, slow-motion planetary collision.
That's a perfect way to describe it.
So for the learner out there, what does subduction zone mean in tangible terms? Does all that friction mean the region is seismically volatile?
It means the region is under immense compression. As one plate dives under the other, the resulting friction and heat and pressure, it creates magma. And that magma then seeks the path of least resistance to the surface. Barren Island is that exit vent.
So it ensures a constant supply line of material, making it a very much living mountain.
A very living mountain.
Given that immense pressure, you'd expect these incredibly violent, explosive eruptions, the kind that vaporize entire hillsides.
You would, but that's not its personality.
But the sources describe it as having a much more sort of predictable, gentler, almost a breathing personality.
It's true. It doesn't typically result in those catastrophic caldera explosions. Its usual behavior is what geologists call strombolian activity.
Strombolian activity.
Yeah. Imagine a thick pot of soup where gases build up and then escape with a loud pop or a gurgle.
That's a great analogy.
The eruptions are characterized by glowing cinders, streams of fire, and chunks of semi-molten rock.
Volcanic bombs.
Sometimes called volcanic bombs.
Yeah.
Bubbling up and thrown out in short, rhythmic bursts as the gases release. It's the magma chamber, effectively taking a periodic fiery breath.
Not a sustained, violent roar.
Exactly.
And that breathing has been remarkably consistent in recent history. The sources list eruption cycles in 1991, 1994 to 95, 2005, 2017, and even into 2018.
And smaller activity continues. It's always dynamic, even when it looks quiet. Geologists monitor it constantly, and they confirm these high thermal signatures on thermal scans. It's perpetually simmering, and you can see the result of that relentless cycle right where the land meets the sea.
The shoreline formations, they're described so vividly. When that 1,000-degree lava hits the cool seawater, it must be instantaneous.
It is. The sources talk about the immediate cooling resulting in extremely hard, glassy basalt. What's fascinating is that the speed of the cooling actually tells geologists about the viscosity of the lava.
So fast cooling creates these strange, beautiful, and brutal formations.
You end up with these twisted, folding structures. It really is nature's brutal art gallery. sculptural shapes like frozen waves or black curtains.
The story of fire meeting water, etched into stone.
Precisely. And it sets the stage for the land above the waterline.
Okay, moving inland. Let's tackle that misleading name. Barren Island suggests total devastation. But while the center is lunar, the periphery isn't entirely without life.
The name is definitely a relic, probably inspired by the sight of the steam plume and the inner caldera, which is described as harsh, totally inhospitable. The interior is a furnace.
But the outer slopes?
The outer slopes tell this compelling story of extreme biological resilience. Life always finds a way, especially when the soil is so rich in minerals.
So what are those pioneer species? What's the first thing to get a foothold there?
You find resilient shrubs, creeping figs, and wind-blown coconut palms. These are the hardy species that manage to anchor themselves in that fresh volcanic soil.
And it creates this amazing visual contrast.
It really does. This faint robe of green clinging to the outside, while the interior is just this desolate basin of black rock and steam vents.
This part on the geology is where it gets really interesting for me, because the island is less about the surface life and more about seeing the raw ingredients of our planet just laid bare.
That's the true spectacle. When the sunlight catches those fractured rock faces, you're essentially looking at the Earth's deep-time architecture.
Minerals forged in immense heat, just sitting there at the surface.
Exactly, for human eyes to see.
So what visual cues should a visitor look for?
You're looking for different types of cooled magma. You'll see obsidian, that's the natural volcanic glass, glossy and sharp. It forms when lava cools too quickly for crystals to grow.
Right.
You also see hematite, which gives certain rocks a metallic sheen or a reddish-brown color. It's this stunning spectrum of grays, intense blacks, and metallic browns.
Revealing the history of the magma source itself.
A rare, tangible connection to the planet's core processes.
Seeing that deep history is compelling enough, but that pales in comparison to the ecological contradiction waiting just offshore. This is the part that truly fascinates me.
The Barren Island paradox. This is where the science flips everything you expect upside down.
Exactly. You have this constant source of fire, heat, chemical runoff, and yet right there you find one of the richest, most complex coral reefs in the entire Andaman region. How does an active volcano, which should be sterilizing the environment, instead nourish a thriving underwater ecosystem?
It defies simple logic. Fire and life are usually antagonists, right?
Yeah.
But the scientific hypothesis focuses on the mineral content. While a big lava flow is obviously devastating, the general continuous volcanic runoff, the dust, minerals, trace elements, is thought to be acting as a giant fertilization system.
So it's feeding the bottom of the food chain.
Precisely. These specific volcanic minerals are thought to stimulate massive plankton blooms in the surrounding waters, and plankton is the foundation of the marine food web.
So by boosting the plankton, the volcano is supporting superior coral health, attracting huge schools of fish.
And supporting apex predators. It's a whole chain reaction.
But I have to ask, how does that localized heat not just boil or sterilize the reefs right next to it?
That is the crucial point. The intense local heat is rapidly dispersed by strong currents and the sheer volume of the ocean. The ecosystem is buffered by the depth and constant movement of the sea.
So the marine life gets a beneficial, distributed dose of nutrients, not overwhelming heat.
Exactly. It proves how resilient the ocean ecosystem can be.
For the learner who loves marine life, the sources paint an incredible picture of diving here. It sounds like an alien world.
It's unique. Divers describe navigating immense, sheer underwater walls and lava ridges. It's a subaquatic canyon experience. And the marine life is just spectacular, very dense.
Like the manta rays.
Yes, majestic manta rays that glide past like underwater moons.
And sharks are a common sight?
Oh, yes. Large schools of white-tip reef sharks are frequently seen weaving through the lava formations. It just shows how healthy the ecosystem is. You also have giant barrel sponges and extensive hard coral growth.
And we have to mention the dive site with that brilliant name, Purple Haze.
An apt name. That site is famous for the dense concentrations of soft corals that shimmer violet in the filtered sunlight. It's a beautiful juxtaposition against the dark volcanic rock.
And this isn't just a pretty place to dive, it's a protected zone, a natural laboratory.
A hugely important one.
They noted that even after the massive 1991 eruption, the coral regrew remarkably quickly.
And that fact is globally significant. At a time when reefs worldwide are suffering from mass bleaching, Barren Island's ability to rebound suggests that this environment, supercharged by geological nutrients, might hold keys to extreme coral resilience.
Marine biologists are intensely studying why it recovers so fast.
They are. It teaches us that life, even in the most volatile settings, has this incredible, tenacious ability to renew itself.
Okay, let's switch gears to the logistics. For the person who has been captivated by this paradox, how do you actually experience it? Visitors never disembark, correct?
That's the rule. It's vital for safety and conservation. You don't step ashore. The entire experience is visual and sensory, conducted from the water.
Which is probably the only way to really appreciate its scale rising from the seafloor.
I think so.
The sources recommend treating this not as a quick day trip, but as an unhurried expedition, often 2 days and 1 night from Port Blair. Why the overnight component?
Because the journey is just as important as the destination. When your boat leaves the lights of Port Blair, you enter this sphere of absolute untainted night.
Wow.
The sea air is clean, the stars are overwhelming, and you might even encounter bioluminescence glittering in the dark water. It's an immersion into pure, natural solitude.
But the real emotional payoff, the moment that stays with you, has to be the sunrise.
Absolutely. The sunrise is the defining moment. As the sky pales from black to rose, the dark silhouette of the volcano slowly rises out of the blue, shrouded in its own pale plume of steam.
It's described as a primal moment.
It is. You hear the low hum of the sea against the black beaches, and you witness a landscape actively forming before your eyes.
It connects you to a pre-human scale of time. It makes sense that this place has always captured the imagination.
It has. Long before modern science, ancient sailors imagined fire spirits dwelling in the crater.
And early British surveyors.
They described it poetically as a mountain eternally murmuring.
Those old descriptions capture an emotional truth that even science can't quite displace. Whether you approach it scientifically or historically, Barren Island forces a reaction. Awe, reverence, profound humility. You're encountering something older and more elemental than human history.
It is the planet's untamed heartbeat, fully visible, a powerful experience. It's a reminder that the seemingly calm world we inhabit is constantly being forged by forces beyond our control.
Barren Island. India's rare natural treasure, a stratovolcano rising dramatically from a turquoise sea, wrapped in deep-time geology and surrounded by thriving paradoxical reefs. It truly is a spectacular reminder that beneath the calm surface of our world, fire and motion never truly stop.
It's an unforgettable scientific marvel.
Thank you for guiding us through this amazing deep dive.
My pleasure. And if you decide to travel to Andamans to witness that primal sunrise yourself, we have a recommendation. Five Senses Tours organizes tours across India, which are immersive cultural experiences. You can email contact@fivesensestours.com or WhatsApp to +919 845 677 446.